Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the committee and also to the weather we're having compared to last week's. So we're now into real fall, I think. Anyway, I am calling the meeting to order. And does anyone have any declarations of interest? No? Okay. And delegations is on the agenda.
For you, Madam Chair, there are no delegations anticipated for this meeting.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. So the first item for discussion is the Municipality of West Grey trail signage, Cody Hewlett, and Sarah will present the motion first, and then we'll hand it over to Cody.
For you, Madam Chair, the motion for this item is that the trail signage report from the Municipality of West Grey be presented for review and comment.
Okay, and can I have someone move the motion? Claudia, thank you, and a seconder. Andrea, thanks. Okay, we'll hand it over to you, Cody.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
Through you, fairly straightforward report in front of the committee this afternoon. Basically, there is a pre-existing trail system located in the geographic township of Durham that is already online and operational. The municipality is taking a stepwise approach to maintaining this trail, and our first step is the installation of signage and mapping along the 1.5 kilometer section. As you'll see outlined in the report, we do have examples of the proposed signage that we're asking for review and comment from the committee. On these trail signages included, they're fairly generic, but they will be updated obviously with the "you are here" and the street locations for emergency mapping purposes.
Okay. Has everyone reviewed the documentation? Okay. Any comments or questions? Anyone from the committee?
Can somebody describe the sign?
Thanks, Brooke.
We don't have a picture of it, do we?
I'm just wondering how we're gonna know if it's like accessible for somebody who like site-wise too.
Is it possible, Cody, just to describe the signage?
Yep.
For books? Yeah, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Thank
so
you.
For you, the first sign that we have here is our large trail signage. So it's 48 inches by 48 inches, or 4 feet by 4 feet. It'll be printed on the reflective Illumilite, similar to a standard roadway signage. The top of the sign states, "Welcome to the West Grey Recreational Trail System. Enjoy these activities, respect fellow visitors," and includes pictograms and text for hiking, cycling, dogs on leash, snowshoeing, birding, or rather bird watching, geocaching, cross-country skiing, and fishing, which is only permitted in accordance with applicable laws. Following that, underneath, as you may be able to see on screen, we have prohibited usage, and these are marked with a red circle and a slash. Smoking, vaping, alcohol use, campfires, hunting, equestrian, littering, camping, and unauthorized motor vehicle use. Further to that, lower on the sign, we have use at your own risk verbiage, which is, trails on this property may be hazardous to users, and information on how to report any hazards, comments, or concerns with attached phone numbers and email address. To the right of that, we have basically trail mapping that includes the first 1.5 kilometer stretch of the trail. With that, there is emergency marking to say that you are located at marker X between the two various streets, or nearest location marker that we can establish. And then below that, you just have reference to the West Grey website with our various logos. Madam Chair, did you want me to go on to explain the second sign included in the report?
Yeah, that would be great, Cody. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. So the second sign included is very similar to the first one, but it's smaller in size. It's 18 inches by 18 inches, so about 1.5 by 1.5 feet. Similarly printed on the Lumilite, similar to a roadway sign. And the top says the Westbury Recreational Trail System, and then it includes emergency verbiage. So in red text, in case of emergency, you are located here, the Durham Recreational Trail System, and then each sign will individually be updated to include the closest intersection and mapping. It includes the previous use at your own risk verbiage included on the other sign, and then it makes reference to that the trails are not maintained during the winter months, which our winter operations are November 1st to April 30th, and the bottom of the sign includes the Westbury website as well as our attached logos.
Thank you, Cody. That was very helpful. Claudia, did you have a question?
Yes, I'm an ex-smoker, and I question A, the legality, and B, the possibility of enforcing that nobody will smoke outdoors or vape outdoors. I think that's kind of ridiculous. Even so, I'm not pro-smoking at all anymore, but I know how dedicated smokers are, and I think it would be wiser to put maybe cigarette disposal units up instead of telling people not to smoke. Or maybe alter it in a way that when there's a drought, when there's no fires allowed in the whole county because of fire risks, that then there's no smoking. Because I think it's impossible. And what would people be charged if they get caught smoking on the trail? Like, did they get a criminal record then, or?
If I may, through you, Madam Chair. So the signage included is compliant with the Smoke Free Ontario Act, which basically outlines where smoking is and is not prohibited. Under the Smoke Free Ontario Act, smoking is not prohibited on recreational trail systems.
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting.
With that being said, as you had referenced, enforcement of that can be quite difficult. However, we try our best. Enforcement comes through the tobacco enforcement officers, through Great Bruce Public Health primarily.
What are the consequences when somebody gets caught? I'm just interested in knowing.
Off the top of my head, I'm not completely sure. I believe the first couple occurrences we try to take a educational approach. So rather just sharing that it's not prohibited, and then from there, there could be fines imposed, and that would be, I believe, under the Grey County bylaw, but I don't know what those are off the top.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, does anyone else on the committee have any questions for Cody? Or any comments to make? No? Okay, all in favor of the motion that was presented?
I'm in favor. It's Andy.
Pardon me?
It's Andy. I'm in favor.
Okay, thanks, Andy. Andrew?
I'm in favor. It's Brooke.
Okay. Andrew? Maybe Andrew's not hearing me.
You're just muted, Andrew. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, there you are. Are you in favor of the motion, Andrew?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the motion is passed. Thank you very much, Cody, for your presentation.
Thank you for your time today.
Greatly appreciate it. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the Township of Southgate. And this is the multi-year accessibility plan for 2023 to 2027. And that will be Holly Melinek. But before, we'll have Sarah read the motion.
Madam Chair, the motion attached to this item is that the multi-year accessibility plan for 2023 through to 2027 from the Township of Southgate be presented for review and comment.
Okay, and can I have someone move the motion, please?
I can do it. It's Brooke.
Thank you, Brooke. And can I have a seconder?
I can do it.
Claudia?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I'll hand it over to you, Holly. Thank you.
Thank you, through the chair. We just are here to present our multi-year accessibility program. It's a draft format right now. We're looking for feedback from the committee before we bring it to our council. So I'm open to feedback and any questions if there are any.
Does anyone on the committee have any questions for Holly? Everyone reviewed it prior to the meeting? Yes, Kathy, thank you.
Thank you, Chair Schultz. I reviewed it. I don't have any concerns. I think it's very inclusive.
Yeah, I did too. It's well written. Okay. So if we have no other questions or comments for Holly, then can I have a show of support for the motion?
I'm in favor. It's Andy.
Okay, thanks, Andy. Brooke?
I'm in favor.
Okay. Andrew?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the motion is carried. Thank you, Holly, for your presentation.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Township of Georgian Bluffs. The same thing, it's their multi-year accessibility draft plan for 2024 to 2028. And that will be Carly Craig. And Sarah will read the motion.
For you, Madam Chair, the motion attached to this item is that the multi-year accessibility plan for 2024 through to 2028 from the Township of Georgian Bluffs be presented for review and comment.
Okay, can I have someone move the motion, please?
I will do it.
Claudia, and a seconder, please. Andrea,
I can do it as Brooke.
Okay, I think Andrea, you're okay? Brooke, okay. Brooke, thank you. All right, and I will now hand it over to Carly. Thank you, Carly.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, committee, for reviewing my draft plan. Any feedback regarding it would be greatly appreciated. Our present plan 2019 to 2023 does expire as of December 31st, 2023. So this is to give us a little bit of buffer time for review and comment before this new plan would be implemented as of January 1st, 2024. We have done some community consultation with this in advance of bringing it to the committee. So we did some engagement in person that was back in August, and there was some great conversations that came out of that. So we did that, as well as there are written information cards that are available at the township office and at our various facilities for those who don't have access to the online forums or couldn't make it to that in-person engagement event. So there's still an online portion for feedback that is still open, and we will be accepting feedback until next week. But today we're really hoping to get the committee's comments and any suggestions that they would like to make.
Does anyone have any comments or questions for Carly? I did review the document as well, Carly, and I was very pleased with it. It's very well written. Andrea.
Thank you, through you, the chair. Yeah, actually, in reviewing all of the materials for this meeting, I liked section 3.0, the highlights of barriers removed and prevented between 2019 and 2023. I think that's helpful for residents going forward to know what's changed. You know, so if they're familiar, oh, I never go to that park because X, Y, or Z, and then for them to say, oh, it's time for a fresh look because there have been some enhancements. So I think that makes this information easy for people to follow, to see what's new and what they can perhaps now enjoy that they haven't been able to before.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Andrea. Does anyone else? Kathy?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I particularly appreciated that all of the projects that you undertook that were municipally owned facilities, that they did come to this group for review and comment ahead of time. And I just think it was an excellent plan, really well done, laid out very well, and accessible, even with the graphics. So kudos.
Thank you. Much appreciated. It was my first one.
Good for you.
Okay, anyone else have any comments for Carly? No? Okay, so can I have a show of hands to approve the motion that was presented? Okay, and Brooke? Brooke?
I think we all need a big cup of coffee today.
Through you, Madam Chair, I do believe that Brooke has raised her hand electronically.
Okay, all right, and Andrew?
Yes.
Okay, and Andy?
Yes, I support it.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the motion is approved. So the next item is also Carly. And so this is the Township of Georgian Bluffs again, the Integrated Accessibility Standards Policy. And Sarah will read the motion for that.
Through you, Madam Chair, the motion in connection with this item is that the Integrated Accessibility Standards Policy from the Township of Georgian Bluffs be presented for review and comment.
Okay, and can I have someone move the motion, please?
I will move it. It's Andy.
Okay, thanks, Andy. And can I have a seconder? Claudia, thank you. Okay, Carly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is an updated policy. The original one was passed back in 2016. So this update has really been prompted by an audit that the Township of Georgian Bluffs underwent back in February and March. Of course, all of these policies were included in the previous plan to review and update. However, we have taken these policies and put them under a microscope. So the policy has been beefed up from the last one. Some of the language has been made more accessible and more inclusive. Some of the highlights include the previous plan didn't account for guide dogs being permitted. And it really just elevates our commitment to accessibility at the township.
Okay, does anyone have any comments or questions for Carly?
Kudos to the guide dogs. That's really important.
Mm-hmm. And Kathy.
Yeah, I just want to speak a little bit about policy requirements under training. And I wondered if you might want to consider requiring accessible customer service training as part of the procurement process rather than signing up to train the people who provides goods, services, or facilities on behalf of the organization. And I just think that might become unwieldy. And for training, it's a requirement to track who had it, when they had it, and what they had. So I know from Grey County's perspective, we just require that people participating in the procurement process agree that they are compliant with the customer service training.
Fantastic suggestion. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any comments or questions?
I had a question about the guide dog part. I can't remember. Did it say specifically guide dog or service dog?
I believe it says service dog, but I will double check.
Perfect. Just because if you say guide dog, it's kind of a exclusionary.
Great point. Yes.
Yeah.
I can confirm that it is service animals and it does not, it's not restricted to dogs either.
That's great. Any other questions for Carly? No? Okay. Can I have a show of hands for the motion? Okay, Brooke?
I approve.
Okay, Andrew?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes, I accept it.
Okay, thank you very much. The motion is moved and approved. Okay, the next item is also Carly. With regards to the accessibility customer service policy. And I'll have Sarah read the motion for that as well.
Through you, Madam Chair, the motion in connection with this item is that the accessible customer service policy from the Township of Georgian Bluffs be presented for review and comment.
Okay, and can I have a mover for the motion, please? Andrea, thank you.
I
A
can move it.
seconder? Brooke?
I can second it.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Brooke. Okay, Carly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I promise this is my last item. So we, from the integrated accessibility policy, picked out and highlighted and expanded on more of the customer service aspects of this. And the desire was really to make it more digestible and have it available to customers. So it does also span from that audit that we underwent back in February. So again, it includes service animals and also includes our commitment to providing accommodation when requested. And it just sets out some of those parameters. And I would be happy to take any feedback that the committee has on the policy.
Okay, thank you, Carly. Any questions or concerns for Carly? No? Okay. Can I have a show of hands for the motion, please? Okay, Brooke?
I'm good. I
Okay,
approve.
thank you. Andrew?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes, I'm supportive.
Thank you. Okay, the motion is carried. Okay, thank you, Carly. We greatly appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the County of Grey Accessible Municipal Features Map, and that will be Kathy Nuno presenting. And I will have Sarah read the motion.
Through you, Madam Chair, the motion in connection with this item is that the accessible municipal features map from the County of Grey be presented for review and comment.
Okay, and can I have a mover for the motion, please? Claudia? And a seconder, please. Can I get a seconder? Andrea, thank you. Okay, and we'll hand it over to Kathy.
Thanks very much, Chair. So this accessible municipal features map has been an ongoing project that kind of slid off to the side many times before we got it to live, which I'm pleased to report is now available. So on the screen, I'm showing the whole County of Grey and various points on the map that contain public buildings or facilities that have accessible features. So it's an interactive map. You can click on any point in the map and it will expand out and tell you what the features are. I'm just going to click here on the Ravenna Hall. It gives you a picture of the Ravenna Hall. It tells you the address, the phone number. It gives you a link to the website and then a list of services, which for this one, it's a community center with an accessible entrance and an accessible washroom. So the goal here is to have each municipality designate somebody as the contact person who will be responsible for keeping the map features up to date. And at our end, although this was built by our GIS staff, they've handed it over to me to maintain. So my thought is I'm going to reach out in the spring and the fall, because I think those are most likely the most meaningful times to connect, when things will likely be changing with hours of operation and stuff. So it can kind of dovetail as a reminder that, oh, we should update our website because our accessible bathrooms are going to be available through the summer, or, oh, we should update it because they're going to be closed for the winter, things like that. And then I also wanted to show you that down at the bottom, there's a little share button. And municipalities can copy that share button and add it to their own websites, which is a kind of a nice feature. And then that way you don't have to do any further work to updating it other than let me know what has to happen to keep the information current. And then it'll be there for everybody. And then Carly, I don't know if maybe you want to somehow integrate this map. Yeah, we'll talk about that later, but it could be a good starting point to just grow this little project.
Yes, Claudia.
Owen Sound has disassembled their disability committee. I'm sure you're all aware of it. So Owen Sound is on the map here. That means that we now have to take over their jobs, or how does that work?
Through you, Chair, I can respond to that. In connection with this project, it's every municipality in Grey County, the ones that are participating as members of the Accessibility Advisory Committee and not. So that's kind of like a separate topic. But they still have, like every municipality has staff that's responsible for making sure that the accessible legislative requirements are met. That won't change.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think it's terrible that they disassembled that they took that committee down for size of Own Sound, not to have a disability committee.
Through you, Madam Chair. If
Yes.
I might suggest that there is an item of correspondence attached to today's agenda with regards to the City of Owen Sound's Accessibility Committee and their connection to Grey County's Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee. So I might suggest that we'll come back around to this topic just a little bit later on the agenda.
Okay,
Thank you, Sarah. Tara.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Kathy, I just wondered, could you elaborate on the best way that everyone could get accessible buildings and facilities on this map? So is the best way to reach out to you and request it, or should it be done when you reach out annually or semi-annually to do kind of a request for update, or what's the best way to go about that?
Thank you, Chair, and through you, Chair, in response, we did put out a few actually on the course of getting this live, a few communications out to the local municipalities, and IT, our GIS department, has come up with it's called a survey, but it's basically questions where they can tick box the answers, and then that information comes to me. And then I can make sure that the map gets updated for that. That can happen at any time, but I will also be asking for updates in the spring and in the fall. So I'm hoping that our local municipalities will give me a contact name for the best person to reach out to about that.
Thank you.
That's great. Does anyone have any other questions or comments for Kathy?
Perhaps.
Yes, Claudia.
For the town of Durham, it might be a good idea to approach Jeffrey Shea, because his own son has severe cerebral palsy. He might be the right person to talk to in regards to Durham.
Okay, through you, Chair. Thank you for that, Claudia. I will reach out.
Anyone else have any comments? I will make a comment. I think it is amazing. And thank you, Kathy, for all your hard work on that. It's been, a process for sure. And I love seeing that sort of interactiveness to the map. It will be a great source to people for sure.
Thank you, Chair. I hope people find it's a valuable tool for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Claudia?
how are we making sure that people with disability actually know about our work? That's a question that I keep forgetting to ask. Like, you know, we're having this committee and stuff, but then when you talk to people on the street, they have no idea what we're doing. They have no idea that there are maps and stuff.
Through you, Chair, if I can respond to that. I second your sentiments. I always am struggling to find a way to connect with the people who this information matters to. And that's an ongoing piece of our multi-year accessibility plan, to find out how to connect with the people who it matters most to. And I haven't come up with a marvelous way of doing that yet. I did attend a seniors fair in Meaford. Maybe it was in the spring or maybe last fall. The time goes by so fast. And I did make some connections there. And so slowly we're growing this, but yeah, any suggestions anybody has on outreach, I am all ears. Thank you.
Facebook, we should do a Facebook page. There's some very serious Facebook pages out there. I know people are trying to get away from that thing, but there's some very serious Facebook pages out there, and a lot of like community Facebook pages, like West Grey Police has a Facebook page. We could try that.
Okay, thank you. I'll check with our communications staff. I think we might actually have a Grey County Facebook page, so I'll see how I can tie that in. That's a great idea. Thanks.
Okay, does anyone else have any comments? Okay, can I have a show of hands for the motion to approve? Brooke?
I approve it.
Andrew?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes, I'm in favor.
Okay, thank you. Motion is carried. Thank you, Kathy, for the presentation. So the next item on the agenda is the Town of Hanover, Robert Steers Playground Equipment Enhancements, and that will be Melissa Hildendorf, and I will have Sarah read the motion.
Through you, Madam Chair. Motion in connection to this item is that report Robert Steers Playground Equipment Enhancements be received, and that the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee provide input for consideration for these enhancements.
Okay, can I have someone move the motion, please? Claudia, and a seconder?
I will
Oh,
second.
Andrea. Oh, okay. Andy, thank you. Okay, we'll hand it over to Melissa. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Catherine. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for accepting a quick update to the agenda package. That's very much appreciated to include this item. We do have Laura Kristen joining us today. She is our Director of Parks, Recreation, and Culture, and she's going to speak to this report on behalf of Town of Hanover.
Great. Thank you, Melissa, and thank you, Madam Chair. Pleasure to be here. So back in 2021, the Town of Hanover, we conducted playground inspections at almost every single one of our municipally owned green spaces and playgrounds. And out of that inspection, there were a number of playground equipment pieces that were located not only at this particular park, the Robert Steers Memorial Park, but across the municipality that were deemed no longer CSA compliant. At this particular park, there were a number of pieces of equipment that were required to be removed for those safety purposes. As it stands, only one Little Tykes play structure and 2 ground climbable dinosaur structures will be remaining in that park, which unfortunately resulted in limited play opportunities at that location. So in order to enhance this playground, we issued a request for proposal for new playground equipment at this site. The RFP did outline encouraging proponents to propose products that are functional, sensory, and inspiring, including that play equipment that's designed for all users. Also, we were looking for a reputable manufacturer that can conform to current Canadian standards as outlined in the CSA, as well as the AODA. Additional points when we reviewed the RFP, additional points were awarded to proposals, including features that enhanced that functional play, that inclusivity, both on that cognitive and physical level, providing an inclusive play experience for all. At this point, the RFP has been awarded to Park and Water Limited out of Orangeville. And we are anticipating that installation will hopefully be late this fall, depending on weather, or early spring 2024. So in compliance with the ODA, we have included some accessibility features. In particular, the proposed playground will include an engineered wood fiber surface, a swing set consisting of 2 belt swings, 1 taut swing, and 1 accessible swing. And there's also ground level structures that provide play opportunities at various heights and abilities. We have provided a picture of the proposed swings and the swing riders, or the spring riders, as well as the climbing feature. This is a proposed design at this point. And at this point, we want to thank you for the opportunity for this, for your input and your assistance.
Thank you very much for that. Andy, you had your hand up.
Yes, the manufactured wood fiber surface, the outdoor surface, is that like wood chips, or is that sort of more like a mat?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, it is wood fiber, like wood chips.
That does create some mobility issues. I realize that's pretty common practice, but it's not the best surface necessarily for moving around if you've got mobility limitations.
Mm-hmm.
Just a comment.
Yes, Claudia.
I agree that that might be difficult for a lot of people, even elderly, just taking their grandkids to the park. They might have difficulty moving through the wood chips. And also, if kids fall down, it's not much safer if it's gravel or if it's wood chips, because if it's round gravel, when you fall down, you don't scrape yourself very much. But if you fall down in wood chips, you might get all kinds of splinters in your body.
Okay, anyone else have any comments or questions?
Is it possible, sorry, this is Brooke, sorry. Is it possible to do like, kind of like a boardwalk, like a wooden boardwalk to different features for people with that use mobility devices that might find it hard to move on the wood chips?
Through you, Madam
Like
Chair.
something like that?
Yeah, that is certainly, you know, the boardwalk idea, like the idea, you know, we are certainly going to try and do as much as we can based on financial budget realities. You know, that's certainly an impact at this park. This park is actually, I'm not sure if anybody's had much experience at this park. This is a very small neighborhood park as well. I should probably have mentioned that as well. So this is tucked away back in basically kind of our along 14th Street, if you're aware. It's very much a neighborhood park versus one of our flagship, more center of excellence type locations.
Okay, Andrea.
Thank you. Through you, the chair, I'm curious to know from those who are here, staff who have more expertise in this, about what the alternatives are to wood chips, because I know from our town perspective, it's not just about costing, it's just also about what are the other solutions, because certainly we have issues if it's gravel, you know, it can, if it's the wrong kind of gravel, it can actually cause more injuries. So we know that we've been looking for other things, but as a grandmother now pushing a stroller, you know, wondering whether or not my mom would be able to accompany me with her walker. Yeah, it would be, it is challenging to go over those wood chips. It's not the be all and end all. So what else is out there? What else is happening? Because I've been to some pretty new parks down in Newmarket and some other areas with my granddaughter, and it's the same thing. It's wood chips. So any ideas?
Through you, Madam Chair, there is a rubberized surface that is available on the market. I will caution that it is a very, very expensive option. So, you know, that's something where budget realities sometimes make that a challenge, but very much that is an option. For example, you know, it can typically double the price of a playground. in some
Okay,
cases.
may I
Yeah.
have a follow-up, Madam Chair?
Yes.
So yeah, so thank you. That gives me a product to explore. I appreciate that. And I don't know if it's possible to do hybrids, because you know, looking at the accessible swing, for example, it would be nice to have it used as much as possible. And if getting to it is an issue, I'm not sure what is the pound or what is the pound maximum on that swing? How large of an individual or heavy of an individual is able to use that swing?
That I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to look that information up.
Because I just know from you know, my experience in helping people maneuver with wheelchairs, that the wheelchairs themselves are very heavy. And then if the individual is also, you know, not just a small infant, then you know, it would be a shame not to be able to use that swing just because of the short distance. So I don't know if there is an area like where you could confine your budget to doing the rubberized in order to get to the pieces that might be useful but need to be accessed by wheels as opposed to some of the playground equipment, etc. So I don't know if that's a solution or not. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thanks, Andrea. Andy, you have your hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had my question answered through the discussion of the other panel. So yeah, it's interesting discussion. I'm learning something too.
Okay. And Claudia.
I was wondering if you consider the price of having to renew the wood chips maybe once or twice a year. So if you look maybe at a 5-year budget, if the rubberized surface would be really that much more expensive, because I don't think you have to constantly replace it.
Through you, Madam Chair, you are correct, Claudia. The wood chips are typically not replaced year after year after year. You know, they are often, you know, we like to till them up a little bit if they get too compact, because that will impact them doing their job to absorb that fall. And typically what we do on an annual basis come the spring is we will top up areas, especially underneath your swings and your slide. A lot of times those areas will become the wood chips will get displaced out of those areas. So we will typically top up all of our parks in the spring as needed.
Yeah, that's what I meant with replacing, because they disintegrate, so you have to
Yes.
keep topping them up. Yeah. What I do like about the wood chips is that wood discourages the growth of bacteria. So that's one thing that's positive about the wood chips. That's like why you should use a wooden cutting board in the kitchen versus plastic. It's a huge difference.
Okay. Andrew.
Well, kind of a little bit of a different thing, but I've been to not this park, but other parks too, but maybe it could apply to this too, but there is, I think, would be a good idea to have a bench or two down near the swings for grandparents to watch.
Through you, Madam Chair, absolutely, Andrew. Having options for seating is a priority at all of our parks and green spaces. Thank you.
And Kathy?
Thank you, Madam Chair. When I read the report and saw that there was a consultant involved and that an RFP went out for compliance and that the proposed design included an engineered wood fiber service, I guess I mistakenly thought that this material or this medium was a good choice for accessibility. So I guess I'm surprised, and I'm wondering, does anybody know what best practice is for this? Because this is coming up time and again. And I thought, oh, good, here we've got somebody who's done the research and the professionals have provided, but it doesn't seem like that's actually the case.
I don't think there's a solution out yet. That's the problem.
Cost-effective solution, I would agree. You know, the rubberized surface is a solution. Keep in mind as well, this is not just wood chips from the garden. You know, these are specific playground engineered wood fiber chips. So it's not just that you can go to the local landscape company and purchase that current product.
Melissa?
The only other thing I was going to add is that the engineered wood fiber is on the approved accessibility features. Is the only thing to add further. Yeah, sorry, thank you.
Thank you.
I have
And
a
Melissa?
comment. It's Brooke. Oh,
Okay.
sorry. You can
No,
go.
no, go ahead, Brooke.
It makes me sad to always hear this whole like, oh, it's only a small neighborhood park, so we don't need to put as much money into it. Because like, what if I want to go and pick out different parks? Like I can walk, no problem. But like, what if I want to bring my friend who has like in a wheelchair? Like then I can't bring my friend because then I have to be like, oh, well, you can sit there and watch while I push my niece and nephew on the swing. But I just feel like either we want to make things accessible, otherwise just don't do it. So having those accessible swings and stuff, it's not fair. Just saying like, look at all these accessible things, but you can't get to it. So Nana to you. And I kind of feel like either we make it accessible or we don't. I feel like it's kind of rude to be like, well, it's only accessible if you can get to me. I just don't think it's fair. And then to say like, well, it's too expensive, so, and it's only a little park, but do we know if there's people with accessibility needs in that area who live there? Or near there?
Melissa, did you want to?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. If I could, so Laura's right that it is a smaller neighborhood park, not to dampen, you know, the need or the desire to make it accessible. I think that's why we're here today. I think Laura's just trying to provide some context as to the location and kind of size wise of the park. And I did want to add, just to second what Laura mentioned about the wood fiber being considered an approved accessible option. Prior to my time working in municipalities, I worked in the school board, where we were often looking at accessible playground features at the school locations. And very similarly there, the option was often to move away from the pea gravel and towards the engineered wood fiber chips, because it was considered a more accessible option. And also there too, just that rubberized surface was always, you know, the ultimate dream goal, but it wasn't something that was generally financially available.
Yeah. Tara.
Thank you. Just hopping back to the question on what other options are available for surfaces. So I know I have seen they're kind of like rolled out mats that you often see on the beach, and that could perhaps be a more streamlined way of getting to equipment versus covering an entire surface. So considering something like the swing and having a mat directly to the swing and some of the other pieces of the equipment might be a solution to look at as well.
Thanks, Tara. And that is actually what Tara is talking about, is called a Mobi mat, MOBI. And they are used for multiple uses. And I agree, as a pathway to this park, that would be ideal for that. Mobi mats are traditionally used to access the water, but they're being used for multiple uses now. They've become quite popular. Claudia, did you have something you'd like to
Yes.
comment?
I just looked up on my phone the engineered wood fiber, and to me it doesn't look any different than what you get in a garden center for your garden. There's the shredded versions and there's the wood chip version. My question in regards to the rubber mats is, how do we avoid the growth of moths and algae in the rain? Because then it gets really slippery. Is that an issue? I've never seen these mats on playgrounds.
I can attempt to answer that question, Madam Chair, simply because and none of the parks in Hanover do currently have that rubberized surface, but you're absolutely right that proper maintenance is required to avoid that algae and that slipperiness of the surface. Another little bit of feedback as well is they can get damaged, and then therefore, once they're damaged, a section needs to be either repaired or patched, which can also create some challenges along that route as well. So there are some flaws to that. I think that all of the current methods are not completely foolproof.
Yeah, that's why I said they haven't found the solution yet, really.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, it's all Band-Aid so far.
Okay, does anyone else have any comments for Laura or Melissa? No? Okay, can I have a show of hands for the motion then, please? Okay, Andy?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
Brooke?
I'm sorry, but I can't approve.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd like to thank Melissa and Laura for your presentation today. Thank you. So Sarah, direction.
With respect to this item, Madam Chair,
Yes.
there was a majority vote, so the
Okay.
item still carries with your comments shared with respect to this matter. And I'm sure that staff will consider those comments as they move forward with their projects.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. Thanks for that direction, Sarah. I appreciate it. So the motion is carried.
Through you, Madam Chair, I do see Member Underwood's hand is raised.
Oh, Andy, sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to just comment to the town staff who done the presentation today. This is like a brainstorming session, at least for myself, because I think further to Claudia's point, there is no good solution out there, and that meets the standard. And I mean, that's really, it's nice to, I think we're not at a point where we can just jump to something else given the lack of information, at least at this point. So yeah, I wouldn't want to discourage the attempts that are being made to improve the community around accessibility. And this is typical of our meetings. We're learning from each other and brainstorming, so we throw a lot of ideas out, and I think that's one that could be pursued over time.
That's a great comment. Thanks, Andy. I agree. Melissa and Laura, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is correspondence from the City of Owen Sound, Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee. And I will hand it over to Sarah for the motion, please.
Through you, Madam Chair, the motion in connection with this item is that the correspondence from the City of Owen Sound regarding the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee dated September 28th, 2023, be received for information.
Okay, can I have someone to move the motion, please? Claudia, and a seconder, please.
I will second, Catherine.
Thanks, Andy. Okay.
I can speak to this one, Chair Schultz, if you would like.
I'd like that. Thanks,
Great.
Tara.
Thank you. So as you'll note in the agenda package, we did, as County of Grey, receive a letter from the City of Owen Sound that noted that they'd like to opt into the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee. And they've also requested an additional member be added to the committee as well that specifically resides in the City of Owen Sound. So as you know, there are a number of municipalities that have already joined this committee in the past years, and Owen Sound has recently made the decision that they would like to join as well. So we just wanted to bring this topic forward to the committee for your information and to make you aware that pending County Council's approval to amend the terms of reference, there may be some additional members on the committee in the new year, barring any or pending any decision of County Council. So staff will be taking forward a report at the end of this month to make recommendations about the terms of reference going forward.
Okay, thanks, Tara. Andy, you have a question?
Yeah, just a comment. It is an interesting turn of events. I'm wondering with our own terms of reference as far as the County Accessibility Advisory Committee, if you know, in the future we should be looking at having something in our terms of reference or bylaws about accepting municipalities from the County of Grey onto it, and what that would mean, so it's spelled out clearly. Like people, I mean, there's just on some of the social media in Owen Sound, there's a lot of chatter going on about the dissolving of the Accessibility Advisory Committee in Owen Sound, and you know, people obviously have some questions. So I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. I just think we should create at some point a standard platform for any municipality wishing to join that would have, so when they look at it, they can see if there's a place for us, this is what it would mean as far as representation. And if, you know, if they're disagreeing or if they're not happy at that point, well, then I guess that would be another discussion. But it would, I think it would maybe eliminate some of the disinformation or speculation going on currently.
No, that's certainly a good point. And I think we can definitely look at how to incorporate that into the terms of reference during the next update. And I think just noting the importance too of, you know, this particular committee brings such a diverse and different experiences to the table. So I think that's really important, and is, I think, easily transferred to each municipality. So I think that's important to flag as well.
I agree, Tara. Thank you. Yes, Kathy.
I just want to add that when the invitation, so it was at the end of 2018 when this committee grew to be a joint committee. And at that time, all of the 9 municipalities of Grey County were invited to join. There was no restriction put on that invitation. At the time, Chatsworth had less than a population of 10,000 people and opted not to join, as they're actually not required to have an accessibility advisory committee. Meaford already had a successful accessibility advisory committee, and so they opted not to join. And similarly, Owen Sound did, but nowhere did it say that after a time you can't join. So it's still an open invitation. I hope that provides a little bit of clarity on that.
Thanks, Kathy. Does anyone have any other comments or questions?
I might add if I could, our
Yes.
intention, we're gonna have to work with municipal staff in each municipality to look at and kind of purposefully plan the meetings throughout the year and continue to work with the committee on your availability and you know, generally we keep the meetings to 4 to 6 times per year. So our hope is that we continue, we're able to continue with that kind of schedule going forward as well.
Okay, great. Thanks, Tara, for that information. Anyone have any? Oh, Kathy.
Yeah, I just want to, did I just mute my? No, okay, sorry. I just wanted to remind the municipal non-voting members that, I mean, this forum is for you too, so we can all speak here and have a conversation.
Thanks, Kathy. That's a really good point, and well taken. Anyone else have any questions or concerns? No? Okay, all in favor of the motion? Brooke?
I'm in favor.
Okay, Andy?
In favor?
Andy? Or Andrew, sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, the motion is carried. Okay, the next item on the agenda is other business, which we do not have anything on the agenda. And I guess the next meeting date has not yet been set, has it, Sarah? Okay.
Through you, Madam Chair, that is correct.
Okay. All right. Well, and Tara, thank you for speaking to the letter. We greatly appreciate that. Okay, I think we're in a position to adjourn the meeting for today. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and it's always great seeing everybody. So have a great afternoon, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Take care,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Good to see you guys.
Bye, Claudia. Bye, Kathy. Bye, Andrea.